we have likely all had a work experience where there's been someone on our team or in our midst who is determined to bring only negativity and to complain about things all the time, or maybe they're the person that will, after a few drinks at a work function or a social function, will have a go at something, but when it actually comes down to talking about it in the light of day, that they deny it, or everything's all good and everything like that. Those people can be really toxic to the workplace and to the culture and to the team. And it can be extra challenging to deal with those people when you aren't in a position to manage them and you aren't in that position to manage the situation. So if you either work with them, alongside them, or alongside their department, it can be really challenging to know what you can do about it. You might feel a little hopeless in the situation and you don't want to be the person that then turns around and complains in return. I get it. I've been there. It's awful, and it's can really make things feel tedious within the team and within the culture, and impact efficiency, impact the ability to communicate clearly, and none of that is helpful. So there are a few things that you can do if you are in that position of working alongside that person and not as their manager. These can either be done in order, or they can just be done by choosing one. So number one is question it. So in person or in conversation, if they bring it up, whatever they're complaining about, I've had moments where I've kind of questioned it, and not in a way of trying to tell them that they're wrong, because that never works either. They don't hear it. But to then ask them to provide a solution to what it is they're complaining about. So I ask them, like, well, what could be done differently? Or what could you do about it? And what can we do about it now then? And if they can't provide a solution, usually it kind of just stagnates. Their flow of negativity in that particular conversation will stagnate. And if you do this enough, they will likely stop coming to you to complain as well. So there's that bonus. If that doesn't work, or if you choose not to do that, if it doesn't feel comfortable to do that, that's okay. Number two is disengaging. So you can discreetly, or say so, disengage from the conversation. So you could kind of just walk away, not out of nowhere, but find an excuse to be elsewhere or something like that. Or you could just say to them, look, I'd rather not get involved in this, so I'm going to leave this conversation, you continue. And that way you're not actually trying to tell them what to do, so you won't get as much force back from them. You may get a little, maybe a comment or two, but you won't get as much force back from them, because you're not trying to actually direct what they do, you're just choosing what you do. And then number three is a really important one, and it really depends on your circumstance, but I really like this one as well, is asking for advice. So you could go to your manager if you feel comfortable, or a higher up, and ask them in the tone of asking for advice, not in the tone of complaining about this person, not in the tone of dobbing them in or ratting on them or anything like that, but really just about asking them, say, look, I'm really struggling with this. I find it really challenging because I find it unprofessional, or it's not conducive to getting work done, or it's not great for the culture and it doesn't feel great. So you're listing how you're experiencing it. And then you can ask them, what's a way you suggest handling this? And what that does is it shows them that you're recognizing them as someone who may be able to help, and you're just asking for their advice. And most people love to be asked for advice, but they love to feel acknowledged that they may be able to help, which is really what it's down to. So you could ask that person, whether it's your manager, someone's manager, whoever it is that might be in a position to actually implement a change with this person or manage this person a bit more than what you are, and just say, like, look, I'm just struggling with this. What is a way you suggest handling this? And if you have a good relationship with your manager, that is really, really helpful. And especially if you have built up a relationship where you know and your manager knows that you don't normally complain about things that are small or insignificant. You don't have a whinge about things that aren't really that important. When you bring something up, they know that it is something important and that needs to be looked at, because you don't bring something up about just everything. So those three things can really help when there's someone who's negative or toxic in your midst at work, in your team, and it can really help by being proactive about how you contribute to the culture. And then asking for advice means that you're showing initiative on how you want the culture to be as well, or how you want to help the culture. So those three things is: one, question, ask them directly what can be done differently and ask them to find their own solution. Two, disengage, either discreetly or just by saying, like, I'd rather not get involved in this, and then leave the conversation. Three, ask for advice. So going to a manager and just asking them, telling them that you're struggling with it and saying, how would you handle this? I'm just asking for your help. And you might find that taking back that sense of power can really make a difference in how you feel in it, and maybe even feeling like those toxic comments and things like that bother you less, even if they do continue. So it's just one little way that you can empower yourself in the workplace and actually be proactive and productive in how you want to contribute to the space as well, and how you deal with and manage others in that you work with and around as well.